Today has been a really bad off day for me. And I guess it's a good segue into what's going on. What happened has a lot to do with the stuff I've been talking about in Hollywood and the things they do. This was a ritual. All right. And the time and day and everything and the reasoning behind it has created bad energy, even down to the fact that the day before this happened, the ghost that's here in the studio was very active. It was knocking things off of the desk and counters and stuff, banging on walls. The IT guy does not believe in ghosts and was like, yo, the ghost was doing some shit. Okay. And it's always right before someone dies. Okay. Like the day we came into this area and started building studio, Bob Barker died. Like, I don't know. There's something to do with death and the activity in the ghost. Anyway, I don't want to talk about that. Let's talk about what really matters, okay? I'm glad 5 of you guys made it back. It is a spiritual battle, 100%. I need you guys to understand what is going on, and I need to get this recorded because it needs to be clipped and put on the internet. And I'm not going to stop. I am very irritated and frustrated today. Today has not been good at all. And we're banned on TikTok until the 18th. So I guess it's good that I onboarded people before this happened and got you all to know where we're at. But I'm going to need your guys' help once we get back on TikTok to pull us out of a shadow ban again. We are going to have to go through it. This is why I don't want to deal with TikTok anymore. And I don't want to go live on TikTok anymore. It causes too much stress for me as a creator. So I'm pretty dang sure this could be, that live may very well be our last TikTok live. I just cannot do it anymore. And I don't want to be one that gives up, but like I'll probably post videos and let people know where we're at, but I don't know if I want to go live there anymore. Obviously I have to because we have to build these other platforms up, but man, we were doing so well. We had more people on YouTube than we do on TikTok. And then this happened. So it's just like, golly. Oh, man. It's just very discouraging. And I'm sorry to let all this come out and I'm just not getting to the information. I'm trying to lead myself into it somehow, some way. I feel like if you don't get banned on TikTok, you're just not doing it right. Anybody who has truth to speak, they always going to be silenced. I know it's frustrating, but you're on the right side. I don't know. Am I on the right side, chat? Am I wasting my time? I feel like I'm wasting my time. It would just be so easy to just go back to retirement and just give up on this. I'll tell you, there are so many days I just want to give up, but I don't because that's just not who I am. I know. I'll never give up, but I'm telling you right now, I want to every single day. Every single day I want to quit. Every single day I am just done with it, especially TikTok. It is so toxic on TikTok. what they've created with TikTok is the most disgusting thing I've seen on the internet. It is bad. It is so bad. Dude, I just took a break. That's what's crazy is I literally just took a break because it was so bad. And I'm like, okay, I got to get back to it. And this is what I come back to. And it, like a big break, dude. So I was actually watching one of those TikTok creator videos, and they're like, if you're like getting banned a lot and having all those issues, they said like sometimes it's best to take like a month off and then come back. And then TikTok like resets its algorithm and pushes you again or something. I don't know. I have been contemplating that. But at the same time, like the information I need to give you, you guys need to hear it. Like, but if nobody ever hears it, what's the point of even putting out the information? I feel like you have more fun with Discord and your TA classes and let this just be whatever it is. Yeah, but the thing is I need to grow that. I'd like to get to, because like, Jesse, how am I going to continue having you on the show and paying you? And what am I even paying you for if I'm just doing Discord and then you're out of a job? And if I'm just doing Discord, what do I need the IT guy for? And so it's like, if I stop doing what I'm doing, people lose their jobs. So it's difficult. Very difficult. This is not an easy thing to do. And now I understand why there's so much podcast equipment at the thrift stores. I mean, it's all cheap crap. You know, nothing like what we're using here, but I understand why there is so much podcast equipment at the thrift store now. Because people just can't cut it. I count myself as one of the most tenacious people. I don't know anyone more tenacious than I am. I don't know anybody that, you know, has struggled like I do and just keeps going. So I get it. I understand why people quit this shit, man. It is difficult. Anyway, enough woe is me. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the show with your friends, all that. Yeah. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you can do TikTok, YouTube, but just let that be whatever it is. If it gets banned, it gets banned, but you have more fun in Discord. I do have a lot of fun in Discord. What we're doing in Discord is pretty awesome. And I have a lot of fun there with you guys. And it's a lot more closer with you guys. Like, we're just chatting and chilling. Like, literally when I'm up at like 3 a.m. trading in the early morning here, like, you guys are there with me now, which is cool because I used to just be by myself, like everyone's asleep and I'm just awake and I'm on my phone. So it is kind of nice to have people to be with while I do that. I appreciate you guys a lot. And really, it's all of you why I keep doing this. I have no reason to do this. There's not one benefit for me to do any of this. I have not benefited anything by doing this. The only thing, I mean, the people around me benefit. You know, Jesse benefits, Elon benefits, you guys benefit. That's why I keep doing it. But I don't get anything out of this. If anything, I just get a lot of heartache and stress. I don't know why I chose to do this, but you know what I've always done is I've always tried to pick the hardest, most unobtainable goal and then strive for it. And I've always achieved it. And I'd even say on the social media influencer side of things, I've kind of already achieved that. I've surpassed what I thought I would ever create. with social media. So I mean, and since then I've set the bar higher. So, but I will tell you this: being a creator is not for the weak. It is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, and I've been homeless on the street. I've been through crazy things, and this is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Social media is a mental challenge. If you can go 6 months straight, you're making it. I know. Are we at 6 months yet? I feel like we've been doing it for 6 months straight. I feel like we're pretty much to that point, if not past it already. I think we're past 6 months. It all started, what, in like February? January, February? Been 8 months. Has it really been 8 months, chat? I know thousands of people that quit that wanted to learn. They aren't made for it. I know. I will tell you this. I'm definitely made for this. Okay. I've seen a lot of creators, and I think I do pretty good. I have to say, like, but it is very tolling, and the stress is very tolling. And you know, the only currency that I receive from doing any of this is having you guys here with me. And that's really the only currency that I want to achieve, is to have a community to surround me. So I do appreciate you. The 5 of you that showed back up, you guys are the real ones, and I appreciate you. Can't you have a second man to step in on times like this? Well, that was the plan to do with Jesse, but Jesse can't even do it, and I don't make enough money to pay her to do it like that full time like I do. I pay her to be here when I need her, and that's just what it is. All right, I think I got it all out of my system. Feeling a little bit better. Yeah, Jesse can't TA, but you know what, Jesse, I think you can talk on the mic though. I think you could do that. But yeah, finding someone that can TA like I do, or even just analyze facts. Like Jesse's good at that. She can analyze facts, but also just the understanding of the system and legalities of things. Not many people can do that. And anybody that can, they don't do this kind of shit. They're attorneys. They're making, you know, $450 an hour. I don't know what I thought I was doing when I decided to do this. This may have been the biggest mistake of my life, but I'm in it, and I'm in it to win it. So I'll keep going. All right. So let's talk about what happened. Okay. I'm going to play these videos for you guys just so you guys kind of get caught up on it. And I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of this crap on social media. Okay. But I want to just bring us all to the same place. And seeing the same things on the internet. And then after we watch these videos, and I'll probably commentate in between, but after it's all said and done, I will break it down for you and explain to you exactly what is happening right now and why this is happening. That's the thing that I think is irreplaceable, is people don't understand what I'm about to show you right now. No, there's no blood, no blood. So just, I need you guys to get on the same page with me, okay? I seen the bloody gory videos. I'm not going to play any of that, okay? But we need to get on the same page, and then I'm going to break it down. All right, so let's start with this one. We watched it earlier. Let's watch it again.
Through all that work last night, we were able to make a few breakthroughs. We were able to track the movements of the shooter. Starting at 11:52 a.m., the subject arrived on campus, shortly away from campus. We have tracked his movements onto the campus, through the stairwells, up to the roof, across the roof to a shooting location. After the shooting, we were able to track his movements as he moved to the other side of the building, jumped off of the building, and fled off of the campus and into a neighborhood. We do have good video footage of this individual. We are not going to release that at this time. We are working through some technologies and some ways to identify this individual. If we are unsuccessful, we will reach out to you as the media and we will push that publicly to help us identify them. But we are confident in our abilities right now, and we would like to move forward in a manner that keeps everyone safe. So what I'll release about the suspect is suspect blended in well with a college institution. We're not releasing many details right now, and we will soon, but right now we're not. But that individual appears to be of college age. We are confident in our abilities to track that individual. If we're unsuccessful in identifying them immediately, we will reach out for the public's help and the media's help in pushing those photos. That was a new development overnight, working through the night, studying those cameras. So that's something that's new and that we're working through right now. As far as the security, I cannot speak to that. Neither the Department of Public Safety nor the Federal Bureau of Investigation was involved in the planning or security of this event, and that'll have to be a question later for other agencies.
This was a targeted event. We don't believe that the community is at risk. However, we are exhausting every resource to find him, and we will
Look at
do
that
so.
tie.
Through all that work last night, we were able to make a few breakthroughs.
That dude's tie. I don't know if I liked it or hated it. Why not release public safety? I think they will. It's just something that's going to take time. So let's you know what, let's just go from the beginning and start here.
To say this, Democrats own what happened today. I am devastated. My kids have called panicking. Every conservative in the country called panicking.
She's a lawmaker. She's a congresswoman. And she's not the only one saying this. The Democrats are responsible for this. Fox News, Jesse Waters, the Democrats are responsible for this. They're literally telling the conservative, the right-wing viewers, the right-wing voters, the right-wing crowd to declare war on the left. And what's the result of that?
This video's in regards to Charlie Kirk. And this video's for the fucking liberals. It's war, motherfuckers. We're coming for you. We're coming for you. And spare me your fucking self-righteous bullshit lectures. I don't give a fuck. We're coming for you.
When I said earlier that I condemn violence, I will not condone violence. This is why violence only begets violence. They are blaming this on the left, blaming this on Democrats when we're not the ones that spread the rhetoric of, gun violence is okay. Charlie Kirk himself spreads the rhetoric that gun violence is acceptable. But I need you to understand the communities that are most in danger with this type of rhetoric, this type of violence being threatened, this type of war on the streets being threatened. Not people that look like me. Unless you talk to me, unless you follow me online, you won't know that I'm a leftist. I'm pretty Republican coded. When they say they're going after the left, they're going to profile people to determine who the left is. So if you are black and brown, if you are trans, if you are queer, if they feel like you're trans, if they feel like you're queer, if they feel like you're a leftist at all, then you can be a target of this violence. And no, I'm not saying that everybody in the LGBTQIA plus community or black and brown community is a leftist. That's what they think. So why do I condemn violence? It's because always in this country, when violent rhetoric gets turned up, it's always marginalized communities that pay the highest price for it. Violence only begets violence forever and always. Non-violent civil disobedience does work. We need to do it en masse. We need to shut the system down. But now, by the actions of one man, everybody on the right is using this as an opportunity to attack Because guess what? The people on the right, the politicians on the right, they know they're losing. They know that the nonviolent civil disobedience is working. They know that the tide is turning against them. They know that the American people are not standing for their bullshit. So they need something. They need something to take control of it and stop us. They're grabbing onto this violent act to declare war on the left. And the most ironic part of the entire thing is that everybody I hear from the left is condemning the violence, condemning the shooting, and they are now calling for more violence. It is always their rhetoric that calls for violence, and it is always the rhetoric of the left to preach nonviolence and condemn acts of violence.
Say this, Democrats.
Let's keep watching.
The man originally arrested for shooting Charlie Kirk in Utah today has been released by the authorities. Y'all gotta understand something. This wasn't some regular Joe Schmo. This person knew what they were doing, and we can see this in the quick little 6 to 7 second video of Charlie Kirk, unfortunately passing away. He did die. I can't show it to you, but this is the layout. That's him in the tent, white shirt, holding the microphone. As he's holding the microphone answering questions in his left hand, he lowers the microphone and slightly turns his head. Then we see the initial bullet entry wound. Then you hear the crack of the shot. Then you see him tense up and inevitably passes away. Again, unfortunately. I didn't like the guy politically, but I don't wish death upon anybody. Now, that right there, we can get a lot of information from. Couple that with the fact that he was talking already for a good few minutes. If this was some regular guy, he would have taken the opportunity the first time it arose. But this person waited for the microphone to go down. Probably didn't take into account that they were just turning his head, because he meant to hit right here in the nasal cavity. If you're a skilled marksman and you're trained, you know that's where you go for the classic headshot. Not the top of the head with a lot of hard bone, not the side. It's not a lot of room. And if you hit the orbital bone right here. So the man originally arrested for shooting Charlie Kirk in Utah.
So this was a professional hit. Okay. This was not an everyday shooter. Now there's some rhetoric going around that, oh yeah, a person with a couple hours training could learn to do that or whatever. I've shot like this before, and it ain't easy. Okay, you have to take wind and all kinds of different things into consideration. This is not an easy shot. 200 yards with a deer rifle at such a small target. Okay, head, neck area is not an easy shot. I don't care what anyone says. If it was not a professional shooter, they probably would have missed. They knew 200 yards right away, but don't know who it was or where it was. Yeah, they knew right away it was 200 yards, yet they drug an old man through the crowd pantsless just in order to make a spectacle that they got the guy. And you should have seen the people surrounding this gentleman that didn't do anything wrong. They were terrorizing him while the cops were trying to remove him, and he didn't even do anything. Who knows? He might have done something, but they just picked someone out of the crowd and demonized him as the shooter. And it could have just been somebody that just, hit somebody in the face because they were laughing at what happened. You don't know. And then we have this video.
Motherfucking animals!
I bet you're an absolute pleasure to be around.
By the way, I'm talking about both of these women. And what I'm trying to show you here is the bifurcation. The way both sides are acting and reacting. This is what they want. They want this.
You liberal, progressive, deranged fucking animals.
How does she even know if they're liberal or not? She doesn't know. They have no idea who did this yet. We have no idea. And they just automatically assume. We need to stop jumping to conclusions about the information that we get.
Who's deranged?
Both these women are deranged. The fact that this woman right here can have this look on her face while making this video. But look at the look on her face.
Who's deranged?
Look at that look on her face. Both of these women are deranged making this video. Shame on both of them.
You are so hateful in your hearts.
Yeah, we're hateful in our hearts. You got a little bit of spittle right there. I'm sure that's sweetness spittle.
To go out and shoot a young man who's never hurted anyone.
You upset, so I'm gonna let that one slide.
With Christian values, a young, beautiful family, a father, a husband, a friend, a son.
Man, I wish y'all would have got this fired up over all them youngins that were killed in school shootings over the years. It's just one guy who said that a few deaths are necessary to uphold the Second Amendment. So, so I don't.
The fact that she can laugh.
Any of us should give a shit.
Shot him! Why? Because you didn't agree with his politics? Because you didn't agree with his ideology?
You know how when you're in church and you get tickled and you're not supposed to laugh?
That's the reason why he deserves to die! You fucking animals!
Bitch, who are you screaming at? You look stupid. I mean...
Both these women are in the wrong here. I understand one of them is very upset, and this is her way of dealing with her emotions. But she has no right to blame any side. We have no idea who the shooter is. We literally thought an old man who probably hit someone in the face, is what I'm assuming, is he probably, somebody did something and then they were like retaliated, got in a fight, who knows? And they literally plastered this guy's face all over social media, all over the news, as though he was the shooter, drug him pantsless through the yard there. We have no idea who did this. We have no information. Okay? They know who did it. And I will give my speculation on what I think in a little bit here. But y'all need to hit the brakes a little bit, okay? You guys are making content and posting it to social media and literally starting a war. A civil war is being started over Charlie Kirk's death. And you're going to social media and you're posting out this information as though you know the facts when you know literally nothing. And you're not helping anything. You are adding fuel to the fire. Both of these women are a problem.
MAGA Fox News host Jesse Waters goes live on air and declares war. He decides to use the most incendiary, divisive rhetoric by claiming, quote, "They're at war with us. What are we going to do about it?" I want to highlight the shooter is still at large. The Chiron on Fox News says police looking for Kirk shooting suspect. So the Chiron is admitting that we don't know who did this yet, while Jesse Waters is saying, quote, "They are at war with us." And again, I entirely condemn this. And if you want to make the argument that there's a high likelihood the person who did this disagreed with Charlie Kirk from a more left-leaning or far-left lens, then we can wait for the investigation. I wouldn't disagree that it's likely, but it's definitely not time to be going live on Fox in front of millions of Americans and using the most incendiary rhetoric possible. Jesse Waters is double my age, yet the video that I made in response called for a better, more unified America. I'm going to play the clip in just 1 second, but I want to be clear. This is clear incitement. Jesse Waters tries to draw a narrative of a bunch of tragedies that aren't linked in any way. He cites the shooting of Donald Trump's ear, which was done by a Republican kid. He cites the shooting of 2 Jewish people outside of an embassy, which was done by a far left, insane, radical lunatic who nobody would defend. No liberal will ever defend this. But let's just listen to this clip of Jesse Waters. And keep in mind, this is rhetoric designed to prime people for more violence. So we need to back off this type of rhetoric, Jesse Waters.
Said this hits differently because Charlie was one of us. And Trump gets hit in the ear. Charlie gets shot dead. They came after Kavanaugh with a rifle to his neighborhood. They went after Musk's cars. They just shot 2 Jews outside the embassy. Think about it. Scalise got shot, barely survived. It's happening. You got trans shooters. You got riots in LA. They are at war with us. Whether we want to accept it or not, they are at war with us. And what are we going to do about it? How much political violence are we going to tolerate? And that's the question we're just going to have to ask ourselves. Now, Charlie would want us to put as much pressure on these people as possible. Dana nailed it.
No, you wouldn't.
This is unacceptable and has to stop.
Wait. I just want to pause it. The chyron at the bottom says, Charlie Kirk assassin still on the loose. At this very moment, we do not know who did this. We don't know their ideology. You could make assumptions in your head, but in what reality is it okay to go on air in front of millions of Americans and use rhetoric about they're at war with us? It is very clear incitement. I have not seen a single politician on the Democratic side. MAGA Fox News host Jesse Waters goes live on.
This is uncalled for. The news media now pushing the rhetoric that we are at war with each other and to fight each other and drawing division. This is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. And this needs to stop, okay? They have no facts. Like he said, it literally says the shooter suspect is still on the loose, yet we're over here inciting civil war over something we know nothing about. We don't know who the shooter is or where they came from. And we're putting this rhetoric out.
And someone says that they saw him walk along the whole top of that roof. If you look here, you can see where he actually stood up and shot. And I'm not going to, but right there, he actually stood up. So he did the shot, stood up, and he ran off. Now, chances are, if you guys are looking at this, if you read, it says it right here. This person saw it, Omar, right? So Omar says, Charlie Kirk is coming to my college tomorrow. I really hope someone evaporates him, literally. Let's just say something big will happen tomorrow, okay? And if you guys want to see who Omar is, this is Omar after, and now right there. So there's Omar, and he's the one who said, hey, something big might happen. Check this out, guys. I don't think it's a coincidence that the question was asked about mass shootings or any of that. I think it was a setup at that point. So we got to check who's asking that question. That's the first thing. Second thing, I'm sure they're going to follow every lead, but these older gentlemen out here who are saying they're the shooter and or trying to throw people off, I get it. You guys hate Charlie for all those reasons. That's on you. You're going to have to deal with God and Charlie, because Charlie's in heaven too. But I will tell you, if you guys go to any function, man, I can't stress this enough about physical security and just tact. You run into the middle of everything in the front of the stage and you make a commotion. You say something. We got shooters up on the top in Butler, Pennsylvania. There's a guy up there with a gun. Stop what you're doing. Run in the middle of this guy. Who cares who's looking at you, who stops you? You say, there's a shooter up there. You start making a commotion. You cannot be quiet about this. This guy recorded something and said, hey, look, somebody just ran across the roof and got in a prone position. Are you kidding? This is where you pick your feet up and you run and you do your damn job as a person, as a human. There are a lot of sick people out there, and they're sick people. It's the people doing this, okay? And they're sick about it, and I'm sick of it. All right, I'm telling you guys are trying to provoke people. You guys are trying to mobilize people, and we're not that way. We're God-fearing people. We respect the flag. I'm a United States Army veteran. I'll tell you what I do. I defend this country against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I don't care who's the president. I don't care who's in Congress. That's not my problem. I care about the people. And Charlie Kirk was exercising his First Amendment right in front of people, and he got assassinated for it.
All right, let's talk about this gentleman. Okay. He's wrong to speculate on the internet and pull up someone. Obviously, this person shouldn't have said what they said on the internet. And this is why we need to be careful about the things that we say on the internet, because they will come and haunt you. Okay. But what you need to understand is that he just doxed somebody on the internet, blasted their face as though they were the shooter with no evidence and nothing to stand on. And Jesse said in the chat that it's a hoax. We don't know if it's a hoax or not. It very well could be that person, but we don't know. But to go onto social media and make content saying that I know who it is and put their face all over, you will ruin someone's life doing that. This cannot be tolerated. And I'm not a fan of cancel culture, but people like that make this kind of content should not be allowed to create content anymore. And this is clear that they are putting out information without any facts backing it, speculating as though it's a fact, and damaging and destroying people's lives. This is where I say that these types of people should be removed from the internet. Okay? If you have factual information and you are giving it to the public, that is one thing. But to speculate and dox somebody like that, that is just disgusting. And you're part of the problem. All right, this is an eyewitness account from someone who saw what happened. And what I want you to take from this, well, let's watch the video first, and then I'll explain to you.
What happened?
Hi. So we were about 3 or 4 rows back. I was there with another reporter from the Deseret News, Emma Pitts. And the question had just come up about how many transgender shooters there had been. And they went back and forth. Charlie Kirk answered once. The student asking a question, he asked something else, and Charlie went to pick up the microphone to answer, and it looked like he was shot in on the left side of his neck. There was a lot of blood, and he went limp, and he started to fall backwards.
And did you see him? What happened in that immediate moment? He fell backwards. What happened then?
So a lot of the people, because we had been there early since around 9 a.m. We were interviewing lots of people just about the atmosphere. And the audience initially thought it was a firecracker. It was really light sound. And so then something was obviously wrong. Everyone dropped to the ground. And then we ran off, cowered there for about probably 30, 40 seconds. Saw the coast was, well, I don't know if we definitely did not think it was clear, but we ran off to get shelter in another part of the building. We hid under a desk, just contacted our editors.
What happened?
Okay. I want you to notice something in this video. And I want you to know that when this video came out, this was during the time they had arrested the old man and drug him out pantsless, okay? So before it was established that there was a shooter on the roof, and they were pushing the narrative that it was this old guy in the crowd, this is what the news was putting out. And I'm going to mute it so that I can talk. Notice this video. They're showing the roof, right? And obviously this is after the fact, but the news does this where they zoom into the roof and they're looking around, right? And they're posting it at the time where they are assuming that they got the shooter. It's the old man. And they're showing that the roof is empty. No one's up there. even though this is after the fact, they do this on purpose. See that shot of all over the rooftops? That is to imply that there was nobody on the roof. The news does this stuff. And this is part of what created the rhetoric of, we got the guy. We got the guy, we drug him out pantsless. This is wrong. And the news is part of the problem. This is why we have a show, because the news is so terrible that they would push this. Now, I don't know what happened with the old guy. I don't know why they drug him out. They released him, though, but they were trying to use post footage as though it was of what was happening, because your brain, the way it works, they were trying to push a narrative that seemed like there was no one on the roof. And that's why you see the shot that you're seeing right now. Okay. And this is a big problem. Let's look at another one.
Going too tough and came and took him out. Okay, that's one.
Oh, we'll get to that one later. Let me see here. Okay, then there's this one. Look, it won't even play the whole thing. Look at this. TikTok won't allow me to play the whole clip.
Please rise for a moment of prayer for Charlie Kirk and his family. Let's wait a minute. Wait a minute. The House will be in order. The House will be in order. The House will be in order. Thank you.
So they went to take a moment of silence in the House for Charlie. And I don't know who it was, but they start yelling and screaming out of disrespect. And the issue is this. This video being pushed out and being shown is part of the bifurcation that they're creating. They want to create a divide. They knew damn well that by taking a moment of silence at the point that they did, that would happen. Okay, they knew that it would get recorded and they could post it to social media and they could use it as more rhetoric to try to drive division and hate between us. That is the whole goal of what's happening right now. They want to divide this country. Today is 9/11, and we are more divided than we've ever been. United we stand, divided we fall is something we always said on 9/11. And here we are, the most divided I've ever seen this country, and we've been through a lot. And this is the most divided I've ever seen. Look at this video, chat.
Man, fight back! White 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 man, fight back! Man, fight back!
They're screaming, fight back. These are Republicans, people with a Jesus flag, Republican flag, American flags. This is the right. Okay? I'm not an idiot. It doesn't take a rocket science to figure out what side this is. And the right is enraged because they are so sure that the Democrats did this, that the far left did this, and they have no idea who did it. We still have no idea who did it. And we have a mob of people chanting in the streets to fight. This is wrong. This is not right. Do not go out and engage with any of this. This is what they want. They want us to fight against each other. And then on top of it, we have these videos. Let's see here. Where should we start?
And it's kind of weird because it only feels like there's only a couple angles that are being posted about it. There should be more videos there should be more footage of this. Why is he perfectly framed up in these videos? like what I mean by anything is they don't show blood on this shit. They don't show people being shot. Why are they letting us see this? It's because we want to see it. But this is really weird. Like, I've been on TikTok for a lot, like, since not on Musically, but like after that, and I was on Vine. And I mean, I watched a dog be put to sleep on my For You page one time, but and there used to be cartel TikTok, but I didn't ever see anybody actually get shot on TikTok. You had to go on Best Gore to watch that shit. And it's kind of weird because it only feels like there's only a couple angles that are being posted about it. There should be more there should be more footage of this. Why is he perfectly framed up in these videos? like what I mean by anything is they don't show blood on this shit. They don't show people being shot. Why are they letting us see this? It's because we want to see it. But
okay, let's talk about this. One, have you ever been to a concert or an event lately? Not a single person, even fireworks, not a single person is watching the actual event. They all have their phones and they have their phone in the air and they're watching the event through their phone. Okay? We should have hundreds of thousands of these videos. Yet we only have these certain ones being pushed out. Now, this can be explained, okay? It's probably the algorithm. The best video with the best footage got watched and engaged with the most. Therefore, it was pushed out. However, I literally posted in the live today, you saw it, I posted a video of Charlie Kirk and his family, and we were rugged off the internet within a second. Okay? Yet this video was allowed to filter around very bloody, very gory video. I know you all saw it, and if you didn't see it, I am happy for you. You do not want to see it. Don't go looking for it. But the fact that it was allowed on the internet as long as it was is not normal. They wanted this information to get out. They wanted people to see it, to become more angry. They wanted this video. I saw it. It is one of the most horrific, gruesome things I've ever seen on the internet, and I've seen people beheaded in the early 2000s. Okay? This was brutal. And the fact that they pushed a rhetoric that he was fine and he made it to the hospital, he was in stable condition, all these different things. I don't understand why they lied so much with this, and at the same time I do. It was all for a purpose. They did all of these things, were orchestrated perfectly and allowed to happen for a reason. Okay, now let's talk about this video.
Where he was struck. Exactly where he was struck. Exactly where.
Look at TikTok's not allowing the videos to play all the way through.
This thing. You know, I'm sorry. But look, there's that black thing. There it is. There it is. Tell me that's not exactly where he was struck.
This is another person on social media creating videos, creating content for their own personal gain. I wasn't going to cover this Charlie Kirk thing at all. I didn't go live yesterday. I didn't post any videos about it yesterday. What I did post was that we're being played against each other. And thank you, TikTok seller, for the most perfectly timed political videos. And those were from days before. But people coming out and making this content for their own personal gain, creating narratives, okay, that are misleading, misinformation on purpose, or it's orchestrated. Maybe they're part of what's going on. There was so much misinformation going around. I've never seen anything like it. And we had the Trump assassination. And this was worse. I knew they were going to shoot him, so I clipped it before that. No, you didn't. Stop. But people making videos like this is awful. Okay? And terrible content. And so much AI generated content. I know I reposted a bunch of this. I reposted it so that it would come up here so that I could bring it up and talk about it. Just because I repost something doesn't mean that I believe it. This is unreal. Now there's this. More conspiracies. Do you see the signal?
Counting or not counting gang violence.
Now this is great. I don't know about it being stupid. I don't think this one is stupid. I think this one may actually be the real deal. But because of videos like the one before, videos like this are discredited. And when I see this video, I see something real here. Watch it again, chat. He signals with his hat, touches his nose, and then the other guy gives another signal with his hands and arms. That's a clear, like, baseball type, and then immediately it happens. I believe this to be true. I don't think this is a coincidence. I don't think that this... I think that this thing was set up. We're gonna get into that more, and I'll create some good clips for you coming up. But let's talk about why first, and then I will break it down for you. All right. One more video here. I forgot this one.
This guy's gonna get fucked.
A man was screaming F Charlie Kirk on a scooter, and these people attacked him. Well, I'll tell you something right now. Charlie would not condone this. Charlie was a man of free speech, and he clearly exercised that right. As you all know, he has said some very horrific things. But I'll tell you this, every person has the right to say whatever they want. You do not have the right to attack anyone for it. Period. Whatsoever. You do not have the right to attack anyone because of something they say. Okay? Whether it's Charlie, whether it's a guy on a scooter cruising by saying F Charlie Kirk. Neither one of those men deserved what happened to them. Let's talk some more. Let's get more into the reason why. Why was Charlie killed? And who did it? That's the real question, right, chat? Do you want to know why Charlie was unalived and why they assassinated him? The real reason? Yes, a lot of people hate him for the things that he says, but there's a deeper reason here.
What's your opinion on the phase 1 release of the Epstein files? Do you think it was more of a PR stunt with Pam Bondi because she just got into office?
We as the American people deserve to have every Epstein file released with no redactions whatsoever, period.
Right.
And so yesterday, I don't want to comment because a lot of these people are my friends, but they got to make it right. And we, the American people, ran on transparency. We deserve to see the entire client list.
Yeah.
Every document the government has regarding the Epstein files, we, the American people, should have on an easy-to-access website immediately in a very, very quick fashion. I'm pushing for that both privately and publicly, just so you know.
Yeah.
Secondly, there probably are a lot of destroyed documents. I think that's probably the issue. I can say with almost 100% certainty that Trump was not on the flight logs. But as far as the client list, that very specific thing, I don't know if it still exists. I'm worried that was actually deleted, destroyed or disappeared. But look, statute of limitations for child sex trafficking goes for 30 or 40 years. We should impanel a grand jury, and every person involved in the Epstein child sex trafficking should go to federal prison for the rest of their life. Every single person. We need justice, and we need these people in federal jail.
What's your opinion on the phase?
That's why they got him.
Donald Trump had his puppet killed for speaking about Epstein.
In the Southern District of New York.
Yeah. Everything. Everything except child sexual assault material.
I think every file should be released to the public the same way as the JFK files.
Donald Trump had his puppet killed.
I think it was Donald Trump. Not physically, obviously, but I think, and if not Donald Trump, I think it was the administration, the deep state, possibly. There's some speculation about Israel. Okay. Whoever is on that Epstein list did this. Somebody on there. And in my opinion, I have no facts to it, but I'm not stupid. And I'm going to tell you why I believe Donald Trump was behind this. Okay, let's watch a few more videos, and then I will explain to you.
You know, in the old days, boom, firing squad. No, it's true. Boom, gun, bang, bing, bong.
When we were strong, bing, and it goes quickly, right? It's called you're dead.
You know, in the old days, boom, firing.
Okay. Let me see. Is there any more videos? Here.
Vote early, vote absentee, vote on election day. I don't care how, but you have to get out and vote. And again, Christians, get out and vote. Just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not going to have to vote. And vote.
Do you hear what he just said? I remember when he said that. Let me explain something to you, chat. Okay? It was quiet. Yeah, I know. I can't turn it up any louder, but let's talk about it, okay? And why I think that this was orchestrated by either the deep state. Basically, he said that you're not going to have to vote again. Go out and vote. This will be the last time you have to vote. We're going to have it fixed so good, you'll never need to vote again. Right? And that's what we're seeing. So if you know anything about times of war, if the country is at war, they don't have to have an election. There's more to it than that, though. In order for that to happen, the U.S. has to be in a state of national emergency. But also there is another thing that has to happen in order for we have to be in a state of national emergency in order to implement the National Guard across the country, which is what Donald Trump is trying to do right now. We have to have a national emergency in order to enact tariffs. We have to have a national emergency in order for unconstitutional edict, which are executive orders, to be lawful. Donald Trump has been in and out of court, and how do I say it? The tariffs are being fought in the Supreme Court, whether or not Donald Trump has the constitutional grounds to enact the tariffs. It is being fought in court right now at the Supreme Court level, whether or not Donald Trump has the right to bring in the National Guard into the states. Okay? And here's the thing is, the only way that, and I said this before on the live, the only way that he can have a legal standing in order to enact that is if we are in a state of emergency. So let me tell you this. Whether the only collateral damage was Charlie Kirk being killed, if they can pin it on a patsy to create it that it was someone from the far left, that could be enough. But if they incite violence, incite a rhetoric that creates civil war or unrest where people are fighting against each other, then they can call a state of national emergency. Every single thing that Donald Trump has been trying to do but has been being shut down by the courts because it's unconstitutional is very correct. It is unconstitutional. But it becomes lawful if we are in a state of emergency. But you know what? Donald Trump pretty much ended all the wars. Pretty much, at least with the U.S., right? So we're not at war anymore. So there was a real fine line of where the Supreme Court could rule against Donald Trump and everything he's been trying to do. So they had to create a national emergency in order to continue making these executive orders. Without a state of national emergency, there is no executive orders. Period. And that's why we've been in a perpetual state of national emergency. Because it's a way that we no longer have a president, we have a king. The king writes down, I decree that this shall happen. That's not the way this government works, okay? There is a separation of powers. The executive branch does not have the constitutional right to create law. That is up to the legislative branch, and it is up to the judicial branch to interpret that law. Okay? We have that for a reason, but we have made it so that the president, in a time of emergency, can make a law. It's not a law, ladies and gentlemen. An executive order is not a law. An executive order is unconstitutional edict that is imposed upon the American people in the time of national emergency. Okay? Donald Trump's whole, I must have tariffs, I must have the National Guard in the states, I must be able to make executive orders, is why this happened. This was orchestrated by the deep state. And here's the thing you have to understand is, even if it comes out that it's some transgender person that did this, which we don't know that, or some far left person, but we don't know that. Even if it comes out that that is what they tell us, that's the official narrative, and even if it is that type of person, you have to understand that the FBI, the CIA, they find people that are unwell, and they manipulate them, and they con them, and they force them into doing things that they would have never done without that help. They will give people bombs and guns and ammunition, and they will incite them and coerce them into doing things that they probably would have never done without them behind it. Okay? So no matter who comes out to be the shooter, you're never going to convince me that this wasn't orchestrated. And even if it wasn't, the rhetoric that they're pushing on social media, the way they allowed Charlie Kirk to be shown in brutal, gruesome, gory fashion on the internet for so long, the way they're inciting the left and the right against each other, is all for a purpose. What do you do when the people grab their pitchforks and their torches and they march on the castle? The king comes out and tells the people with the pitchforks that the people with the torches are trying to take away their pitchforks. It's a tale as old as time. I've told you this time and time again. They want us to fight each other. They want us bifurcated. They want us to go out in the streets and riot and yell and scream, set things on fire. They want us to start a civil war. They want us to start a revolution. Why? Because then Donald Trump can remain president so long as we're in a state of national emergency. They won't have to have another election. Donald Trump can continue to make unconstitutional edict and impose executive orders. Donald Trump can continue to place tariffs with this. This was necessary. I don't care whether you're on the right or the left. This is the play. And you will not convince me otherwise. And I don't care what official story comes out. I don't care what you've been told, what you've seen on the internet. The fact of the matter is, people are fighting each other in the streets right now. They ripped a guy off of his scooter so that way they and attacked him for free speech. They literally are fighting for a person that was fighting for free speech by exercising that right, I would say, quite to an extent. Okay? This is not what Charlie Kirk would want. Okay? And this is not what any person in the U.S. would want. This is what people who are on the Epstein files would want. This is people who are losing control of the United States would want. This is what plenty of other countries would want. But this is not what the American people want. but they think they do because they've been manipulated. Their brains have been rotted by social media, by propaganda, by the news, and influencers that are making content based on nothing and spreading a rhetoric that is rotting the core of what our country is about. This is 9/11, and we are supposed to be unified together, at least on this one day. And this is the most bifurcated I've ever seen this country in my entire life. You guys need to wake up and understand and see what is happening around you. Stop watching social media. Obviously, I'm here on social media, but stop watching this nonsense and this garbage and understand what is happening in front of you. You are being played. And it's all for a reason. And there's another reason here. Not just because of the Supreme Court battles over the executive orders on tariffs and the National Guard, but also the Epstein files. They need to switch and make you look over here. They want you to look somewhere else. Don't pay attention to what this hand is doing. Look at this one. Are you still on Twitch so I can clip this? Yes, I'm on Twitch so you can clip it. They are doing this on purpose. This is all for, a reason. Don't let it, whether you like the guy or not, don't let this young man's death tear this country apart. Spread this knowledge and understanding of what we are seeing to everyone that you know. This message needs to be gotten out, and people need to understand that this is not the time to be fighting right versus left. Okay, this is not the time to be fighting anyone. This is not about the right versus the left. This is about the American people versus the pedophiles, and the American people versus the tyrannical government that is being imposed upon them. This is the American people versus the ultra wealthy and elite that are abusing the system and using social media and everything against us. Wake up. You're being played. I'm going to leave it at that, guys. It's 9:41. I hope this reaches someone and maybe it simmers you down a little bit and helps you to focus your rage, your energy toward the right enemy. This is just like the Wilfie coin, right? This is just like how World Liberty Financial is doing something, so they put out the Wilfie coin and everyone goes and buys the meme coin because they're fucking idiots. When really World Liberty Financial is traded on the stock market. This is no different politically than financially. They are doing it on all levels. So try to educate people. Try to reach out to people. Make a video. Clip this video, post it, and share it. TikTok seller will be clipping these videos and we will be posting them. When you see this content, like it, share it, comment on it, spam the comments, add it to your favorites, share it out, do every possible engagement that you can, because this is where you fight on the front lines of freedom, guys. And not just with these, and obviously this helps me by you engaging on my content, but every single one of my videos. The more you guys go into the search bar on TikTok and search Oz the Crypto Goat, don't just look for me in my messages, go into the search bar and search Oz the Crypto Goat. Pull up my videos, engage with them. The more engagement you give my channel, the more this will get pushed out there. And if we can get it to go viral, we can actually make a change. Okay? We can actually maybe stop some violence. We can save someone's life with this, what we're doing here. We could save lives. Because I'm telling you right now, we are marching head first off a cliff right now. And all I'm trying to do is jump in front of everybody before they head off the cliff and say, hey, take your blindfolds off. There's a cliff right here, guys. Wake up. We need to inform as many people with this. I need your help. And I only have 5 of you listening right now. I need every one of you, all 5 of you, to engage in this content. Clip this portion and add it to every video. I need you to engage with these videos. We need to push this information out because we need to help the people understand that they are being played and that we need to stop the violence now. The violence needs to end now, and we need to unite together as the American people and rise up against our true enemy, because we are not one another's enemy. We have more in common than you think. We don't have to agree on everything, okay? But we don't have to fight each other on everything either. We need to come together and stop this in its tracks before it gets any worse, because if we do not stop this now, I guarantee you there will be bloodshed. Thank you all. Have a good night.